Here we go now.
Hey. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday Takeover. If you're new here, Tuesday Takeover is where we cover a variety of pop culture news. We also talk about some reality shows. We'll be talking about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We'll be talking about a little bit about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We got to talk about their ratings. You might be surprised at that news. We also have some pop culture stories that I wanted to get into. You know, over the weekend, there was the news that Klay Thompson allegedly cheated on Megan Thee Stallion. We got an update in regards to that. We have a lot to get into. Shout out to our Kings Guards holding us down in the live chat. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. I think that's it. Yes. What's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. I can't believe it's just Tuesday. I feel like I already had a full week. What's going on? All right, we were live last night on TikTok, and if you don't follow me on TikTok, you should, because we go live on there all the time. We were selling stuff, we were talking stuff. That's where you guys get to see another side. We talk about a bunch of different things. All right, let's just get into what we need to get into, because, you know, Tuesday Takeover usually is a lot. There's a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of stuff to cover. So at the top, I want to just hear your good news. What is your good news? What is giving you life today? I'm just happy it's tourist season. I'm seeing so much tourist content on social media. I love being a tourist, and I know some of you are triggered by tourists. Will continue to be triggered, okay? Because this is our time. This is officially our time. Our planets are now, our sign is now out of the planet Uranus. Everything is in alignment. All of us Tauruses are being successful. So shout out to Kalani. Shout out to Kandi right now. Kandi had a sold out show last night in Atlanta. She's going on the road. She'll be coming to New York in June. I will have to be there for that, because I heard she sang a few things. We're going to talk about it, because I got some tea from her live show that I want to talk about. Okay. And if you attended, feel free to weigh in the comment section and let people know what you thought of Kandi's live event that she had. I did. What was it? I did, I'm done. Something like that is what it's called. So we will talk about that. Ash says, my good news is that I'm finishing the semester with a 4.0, one step closer to becoming a scientist. I love that. And you know, over here, look, we love, you know, our entertainers, our singers, our influencers, our content creators, our YouTubers. However, I want us to start encouraging the youth to get into other things, like becoming a scientist. So congratulations to you, Ash. I love that. With a 4.0. I know that was not easy. Congratulations. Everyone wish Ash a lot of luck. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Be sure to let me know where you're watching from as well. Donna says, happy Tuesday. I'm happy to be here. DMV Virgo. Look. Shout out to all the Virgos. Because right now we're celebrating a Virgo. You may have saw it yesterday. We talked a little bit about it during our Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. That could be some good news. Michael Jackson's movie has become the biggest selling biopic so far in history, because over the weekend, it was like worldwide, it did like 217 million just over the weekend. Here in the United States, it did 90 million, and I still haven't seen it. But I'm going to. But you see, I work. I try to stay consistent. I could have pushed this back and we could have done this a little bit later on in the day. And I could have went to go see the Michael Jackson movie. But maybe I'll go tomorrow when you guys are all at work. That's not shade. I'm just saying, that's the reason why I'm going to go during the day when everyone's at work and people are at school and whatnot. So it's not just the people at work, it's the people at school. All right. And am I going to wear a costume? Probably not. Probably not. All right. Okay. Any other good news? Let me know. Let me know if you guys have any good news. Winter said, OMG, I saw the Michael yesterday. Theater was empty and the movie was everything. Winter, why didn't you tell me? I could have been in the empty theater with you. Lord have mercy. I know you're in New York. Offset owes... No, shut up. Wait. This name is sending me. Offset owes me money. Thank you for being a member. What's this always your name? Offset owes me money, says go see it, Kemp. Should have went this weekend when it counted. Are you trying to read me? It will always count, okay? My one little ticket is not gonna matter. You'll be strong. I don't think anybody was worried about the Michael Jackson movie moving numbers, okay? When it matters. Excuse me, the first week matters. Them hitting their budget goals matter. Madam, go get your money from Offset and leave me alone. Go get your money from Offset and leave me alone. Okay? All right. Let me get back to this. So some other good news that I saw. Cynthia Erivo, actress, Broadway star, Tony winner, Oscar nominated. She had the big box office hit, Wicked, and then Wicked for Good. Well, in the middle of her also being on the West End in Dracula, she decided, I'm going to run a marathon, the London Marathon. And she did it in 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 40 seconds. That is impressive. I've never run a marathon, maybe in the future, but that's damn impressive. She is locked in. You got it. Like, really? Wow. She did that in 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 40 seconds. Offset owes me money is laughing. You laughing. You should have went when it counted. You want to fight? Offset owes me money? Which just says Offset owes everybody. Apparently. And apparently Offset in the chat. All right. Yes. Onshawn says, yes, we're breaking records. MJ and I are Virgo twins. See, that's one thing I respect about Virgos. You guys work hard. All right. All right. Exactly. Thank you, K. You guys always have my back when they try to come for me. K-Baby says, it still counts, especially week 2. Okay. Don't come at me just because I don't like crowds. I don't like crowds, y'all. Like that. Tyrese, thank you, Tyrese, for letting me know about the debate. I watched it last night. I didn't watch it when it was live. I watched it last night afterwards. But thank you, Tyrese, for letting us know yesterday about the Married to Medicine debate. Tyrese says, hey, Kemp, I see you caught the debate. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about it. You might be surprised with what I have to say. Maybe not. You might not be surprised. All right. So congratulations to Cynthia Erivo. Okay. Let's get into some hot topics. This might be some good news for Oprah, but I have some thoughts I want to talk about because the news came out yesterday that Oprah has landed a new deal with Amazon. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to share my thoughts on Oprah and this new deal with Amazon. Okay. According to Variety, Oprah Winfrey, the Queen of Talk, is bringing her podcast Book Club and old episodes of the Oprah Winfrey Show to Amazon under an exclusive multi-year deal. Under the deal, Winfrey's Harpo Entertainment, Amazon's Wondery podcast network, will have video and audio distribution and ad sales rights to the Oprah podcast across all channels. The deal also gives Amazon rights to her Oprah's Book Club and Oprah's Favorite Things franchises. It should be noted, Oprah's Book Club already had some sort of like collaboration with Amazon. Anyway, you would see it all the time on Amazon anytime she had like a new book. But this is like a big all-around deal that Oprah has now with Amazon, which I find to be very interesting because if you saw the wedding of Jeff Bezos over the summer? I don't remember. Y'all remember when all the billionaires were out there in, Venice? I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that Oprah was there too. So, and this is coming from someone that's interviewed Oprah, that has looked up to Oprah for a very long time. When you look at some of the people that I find as mentors, Oprah is at the top of that list. It's changed over the years in regards to how I view Oprah, but so the deal also gives Amazon rights to her Oprah's Book Club and Oprah's Favorite Things franchises and the back catalog of the original The Oprah Winfrey Show. That's a lot. Can you imagine how much this deal was? That's amounting to 25 seasons of The Oprah Winfrey Show. And this could just be business. I could be reading more into this than it is. This could just be literally business. As a part of the new agreement, the Oprah podcast, previously weekly, will expand to 2 new episodes per week starting this summer. Starting in July, Wondery will distribute the Oprah podcast across Amazon services, including Prime Video, Amazon Music, Fire TV channels, and Audible. Fire TV is still a thing? Okay. This show will continue to be available on YouTube and major podcast platforms. Amazon is still determining how it will present the old TV episodes of The Oprah Winfrey Show on its services. Weren't they doing this through OWN? You know, OWN is no longer, well, she has like a small percentage. She went from like having like 70%, 70 something percent ownership of the OWN network. And I think she may have 5%. That's about it. For Wondery, the Oprah deal represents a new plank in its strategy centered on celebrity and personality-driven podcasts. Other Wondery current shows include New Heights from NFL superstars Travis and Jason Kelsey. Interesting. Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert, Baby This Is Keke Palmer, and the Mind the Game, hosted by LeBron James and JJ Redick. I didn't even know they had a podcast, but here we are. His Bookie Bear says, Oprah, give us some gas cards. Lord have mercy. In a reset of the Wondery business, Amazon last year shifted the network's narrative-driven programming to the Audible brand and is shutting down the dedicated Wondery app and Wondery Plus subscription service as it looks to migrate those listeners over to Audible. Winfrey said in a statement, hosting this podcast allows me to continue the work I feel called to do, opening the door for conversations that matter. Like the one with the lady from the Kiss Cam during the Coldplay concert? Just saying. Just asking the real questions, okay? Maybe because it was a viral moment. Look, she is a businesswoman, okay? But all right. She says, hosting this podcast allows me to continue the work I feel called to do, opening the door for conversations that matter, the kind of conversations that remind us we're not alone and invite us to see ourselves and one another more clearly. Expanding our reach globally is an opportunity to embrace as we continue to connect through stories that invite new ways of seeing and hopefully deepen understanding. Okay. Winfrey, who's 72, launched the Oprah podcast in December of 2024. The show is touted as her hosting meaningful conversations with thought leaders, global newsmakers. I guess that's where the Kiss Cam lady falls in. Fine. Best-selling authors and cultural change makers, as well as everyday people. Maybe she's under the everyday people, that lady. Often in front of live audiences. Okay. Guests on the Oprah podcast have included Misty Copeland, Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson, Mel Robbins, Leanne Morgan, Jeremy Allen White, Adam Grant, Serena Williams, Ina Gartner, Scott Galloway, Maria Shriver, Esther Perel. Additionally, special Oprah's Book Club episodes feature author discussions in front of live audiences. The Oprah podcast is produced by Harpo Entertainment, executive produced by Winfrey and Tara Montgomery, and co-executive produced by Brian Pyroshowitz and Brad Povini. Oprah has built one of the most iconic, timeless brands in the world, spanning television, publishing, and beyond, said Steve Boom, Amazon's VP of Audio, Twitch and Games, in a statement. Through this collaboration with Harpo Entertainment, we are bringing her voice to more people and expanding how her audiences engage with Oprah in ways only Amazon can deliver. So clearly, this is going to expand beyond what she currently has, those platforms. But like I said, I'm wondering, is that part of the reason why? And again, this is business. And I know we've talked about this before. We see these billionaires and how they move and why people have to have these certain relationships and have to commingle with these people in order to land deals like this. So it makes me wonder, is the relationship with Jeff Bezos more so about business? And that's why she went to the wedding. Really wasn't because she really wanted to see those nuptials. Or, it was more about, we're in conversation, or maybe he was wooing her during that time. We're in conversation about a possible deal. This is a huge deal. Because no matter how people feel about Oprah now, there are still a large amount of people that are still following Oprah and everything that she says and does. Miss Esquire says, also, I hate that podcasting is so celebrity centric. Thank you so much for the super chat as well, Miss Esquire. And for being a member. Miss Esquire says, doing business with folks who share your values is important. Character still matters. And that's my biggest struggle with Oprah and some of the moves that she's made in recent years. Because it makes me go like, this is an interesting collaboration. And if you don't know anything about what's been going on with Jeff Bezos and what he's done to the Washington Post, look, we could have a long conversation about that here, but we just don't have the time. We just don't have the time. So Oprah has landed this new deal with Jeff Bezos's Amazon for her podcast, for her Oprah Winfrey show, which is of huge value as well. So, well, here's the thing, B-Wise. I'm not going to say that because you know what also happened this week? B-Wise says, why doesn't Oprah do more for the Black community? There's so much that Oprah does do for the Black community. Literally, she was just over there at Morehouse. She's been supporting Morehouse and providing education for a lot of the male students there for 30 plus years. So there are a lot of things that we didn't even know that she was doing that over there at Morehouse until she ended the Oprah Winfrey show. So in the same way that we can be critical of Oprah, we also need to highlight she has done a lot of good as well. Okay. Kimberly says, I love Oprah. I hate this. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let me get to my notes because we could be here all day talking about the things, right? All right. Where do I want to go? Let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, you know, we did a video over the weekend letting you guys know Megan Thee Stallion took to her social media to confirm that Klay Thompson had cheated on her, allegedly. She also released a statement to TMZ at the time confirming that she has broken up with Klay Thompson. There's been all kinds of rumors on social media since this announcement. Well, yesterday, Megan Thee Stallion confirmed that she will be ending her stint on Broadway early from Moulin Rouge. And she said this in the caption. Hotties, my last performance at the Zidler in Moulin Rouge Broadway will be May 1st, which is this Friday. She puts the heartbreak emoji. It's been such an honor to be a part of the Moulin Rouge family, and I've met so many amazing people in this theater. Y'all work so hard, and I have so much respect for the dedication, the stamina, the work ethic. Amen. The time and the effort y'all put into the work. I'm so grateful to the cast and crew that made this experience so meaningful, and to all the hotties that showed up or planned to attend. Thank you for supporting me during this incredible journey. Love y'all. See you soon. So no explanation as to why she's ending it. You remember there was a particular point that she did get very ill and she had to cancel being in part of the show, but then she was back I think the next day or something like that. Here's the thing. So a lot of people have their thoughts on her ending the stint because technically she's ending it this Friday, but she was supposed to end it in 16 days from Friday to the 17th. She was supposed to end it. So some are saying that maybe it's because of her heartbreak over Klay Thompson. I don't think it's about Klay. Maybe it's a small thing. Maybe that was the cherry on top. I think it's because it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I'm not saying that, she couldn't do it. She's probably like, I can't, this is a lot. It's a lot. So, and on top of that, you got a heartbreak. Here's the thing. Again, this is all allegedly. This is according to her. He couldn't be monogamous. But then a lot of you are pulling out the receipts about Klay Thompson and his past relationships. Apparently, Klay Thompson has had a problem being faithful for a long time. Where's my Klay Thompson? Hold on, y'all. I have it here somewhere. I want to bring it up. Apparently, Klay Thompson has had a problem being monogamous for a while now. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, here. Is this it? Let me just make sure I'm pulling up the right thing. Yes, this is it. So shout out to Raindrops Media on X. They wrote this with a montage of Klay Thompson's previous exes. He says, they say Klay Thompson's last 6 relationships ended with him allegedly cheating on all of them. Did no one tell this to Meg? Because if he had such public relationships, and yes, there are rumors, but if you hear rumors about someone, don't you, especially in the industry, don't you, do your due diligence and find out something? So they say Klay Thompson's last 6 relationships ended with him allegedly cheating on all of them. His big 3 include Megan Thee Stallion, Coco Jones, and Lauren Harrier. Really? And a lot of people were surprised. They were like, oh, this corny mother father is cheating on people too? I don't think it has anything to do. Corny, not corny, people cheat. But his last 6 relationships, they're saying allegedly he cheated. Sidebar. I know people are mad at him, but some of y'all saying y'all sending the message to the Etsy witches on this me. See, the internet is weird. Because like, it's one thing to have your feelings about Klay Thompson. You're entitled. But to be saying that you're going to send money to an Etsy witch, to an Etsy witch to do what? Y'all better be careful what you're sharing on the internet. That's a weirdo behavior. All right. BY says he is a cheater. Why did she not investigate him before she dated him? I don't know. Oh, cute potato. It's coming for you, male Aquariuses. Cute potato. And he's a male Aquarius. OMG, Klay, what the hell? See, I don't know. No, I do know a male Aquarius, and he's not a cheater, pumpkin eater that I know of. Let me send a text to my friend. Have you ever cheated on a relationship? I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask him later. But yeah. Sorry, Meg. First of all, I think the real reason why you're leaving Broadway has nothing to do with Klay. Broadway is hard. Shout out to all the Broadway dancers, singers, performers, crew. Broadway is hard. I think she was just like, I can't keep up with this anymore. And I'm going through emotional turmoil. All right. Miss Parker says, what's an Etsy witch? It's a witch that you can go to Etsy and hire them to do a love spell, a revenge spell. I've never done it. I don't play those games, but I've heard of it. Okay. So I saw people say that about Klay. So I wish Klay luck. He probably all binded up right now. Got to run something. I don't know.
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
Wow. Ari says every Aquarius dude I know has cheated. Not my friend. He ain't cheated. Now I really want to ask him because maybe he just hasn't told me. I don't think that's in his character. Wow. Theo says a witch for hire. That's what they are, the Etsy witches. Yes, Bhakti said not a love spell. Mm-hmm. Some people out here lonely. They try to find love. Okay. Angel says no Aquarius slander. You guys take, when people talk about the men of the sign, y'all always take it so personal, the women. I don't know why. There is a difference between female and male energy when it comes to the astrological signs. Sidebar. Speaking of astrological signs, Nancy is going to be here on the channel. Remember I told you about my Vedic astrologer? We brought her here on the channel before. Ari says, I don't know your friend Kempire. I know, I'm just saying. Well, I'm going to bring my Vedic astrologer, Nancy, back here on the channel. She's going to do for members, so become a member if you want a chance to get a quick birth chart reading from Nancy during that live. It's happening Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Nancy here on the channel. She'll just be doing quick little things just to kind of give you guys a taste of what she does. You know, I've had her here on the channel before. She's done my birth chart multiple times. Vedic astrology is a little bit different than regular astrology. You know, we love to talk about that stuff here on the channel. So stay tuned. Okay. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well so you don't miss out and your notifications are on. Okay. All right. Here go Keith. Wave Keith says, so what's your thoughts on male and female Virgos, Kempire? The same? Trash. No, I'm playing. I don't really see a difference between male Virgos and female Virgos. But there's just certain signs where the male energy versus the female energy it stands out a lot to me. And like Pisces or Cancer, it's usually the water signs. Let's say. Angel says the contract expired in regards to Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson. Is that what you're saying? Because I told you, I always kind of looked at the relationship like, is this a real relationship? Yes, this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, Nancy, my Vedic astrologer, will be here. Okay? Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. This is our Tuesday takeover where we cover a variety of hot topics and reality television. Let's move on. Let's move on to this. Speaking of cheaters, let's talk about Dr. Dre. I mean, look, cheaters, beaters. I mean, look. The young lady here, for those that don't know, the first season of The Valley we did talk about. This young lady is Michelle Saniel from The Valley. This is a Bravo reality show. She's on it. She got a divorce on it. She basically hated the man that she was with from the time that we were introduced. But now they're divorced. So according to Page Six, Dr. Dre and The Valley star Michelle Sinai or something like Sinai appear to be dating. The legendary rapper, who's 61, and the real estate agent, 37, were snapped holding hands at a celeb hotspot, Nobu, in Los Angeles Saturday. So for me, that's when you go to certain spots in LA, for me, it stands out like you want people to know about your relationship. He definitely has a type, because I'm looking at his ex-wife. They kind of look exactly the same. Go Google schmoogle his ex-wife. They kind of look exactly the same. He's got a type. Okay? So they said Dre dressed comfortably in a black hoodie, jeans, and white sneakers. That's his MO. That's like his uniform. While Michelle rocked a fancier getup consisting of a long black leather trench coat, a purple high neck top, and a black mini skirt and stiletto boots. The two left the restaurant in a black Mercedes SUV together and were surrounded by what appeared to be security personnel. Okay. So Dr. Dre's got a new young thing. Okay. Page Six reached out to Dr. Dre's rep for comment, but didn't immediately receive a response. Dre has been private about his love life after settling his divorce to his ex-wife, Nicole Young, in December of 2021. The famed producer agreed to pay her $100 million. I forgot about that one. You know, we talked about that divorce. That was a very contentious divorce. And she had accusations against Dre, too. I mean, there's been a lot of accusations against Dre over the years. All right. The exes were married for 24 years until she filed for divorce in June of 2020. They shared 2 kids together, son Truce, 28, and daughter Truly, 24. Wow, they got grown kids. Dre also has he got 7 kids? Dre also has 7 children from previous relationships. Curtis, 44, LaTanya, 43, Tyra, 41, LaToya, 41, Ashlee, 40, Marcel, 35, and Tyler. They didn't put his age, though. His late son, Andre Jr., died of an overdose in 2008 at the age of 20. Damn, I didn't realize Dre had that many kids. Why? I can't keep up with all the celebrities and their kids. So I'll just say that. Meanwhile, Michelle has been on Bravo's The Valley, a Vanderpump Rules spinoff, since its premiere in 2024. Her separation from her now ex-husband, Jesse, played out during the second season of the reality show. They eventually settled their divorce in October of 2025 after 7 years of marriage. They share 1 daughter together, Isabella, who's 6. Michelle later dated Aaron Nosler, but they split in July of 2025 after a year together. She didn't let any grass grow under her feet. She was like, let me get out here and live my best life. And you know, the current season of The Valley is currently airing. Toya says he's got kids in their 40s. Well, he is 61, so he ain't a young whippersnapper. Miss Parker says Dr. Dre is a hoe from the 70s. BY says, I recognize Michelle. Yeah, Michelle's from The Valley. The Valley, you know? Yep. He's got a type. My thing is, if you go out in public like this, you clearly want people to know about your relationship. A lot of these celebrities say if you really want to be low key, you can be low key. You know where not to go. But I guess maybe the food at Nobu is fantastic. So they wanted Nobu. But you know it is when you got the coin, and we know Dr. Dre has the coin, Nobu could come to your house. We saw what's her name? Heather Dubrow do it. Nobu will come to your house. So they wanted to be seen. Okay. Or maybe he didn't want to be that flashy in front of her because he's $100 million less rich. Jody says, well, I think he was the 50s. I mean, he's not far from the 50s. He does look good for his age. Lord have mercy. Anyway, I spent way more time on that story than I wanted to. But yeah, there you go. There's your update. So Michelle from the Valley is dating Dr. Dre. Moving on. Moving on. All right. Since we're talking about cheaters, it's a theme. It's a theme. And I'm not saying that Dr. Dre cheated. That's just allegations, okay? Allegations. So, Kandi. So, Kandi had her one-woman show in Atlanta, sold out. And now she's expanded. She's going to have another show in Atlanta. She's going to have a show, I think, in North Carolina. She's announced a few dates. She's also going to have a show in New York City in June. So, Kandi apparently did last night confirm that Todd cheated. Yep. And if you were there, feel free to weigh in the chat. But I got the tea. All right, we got sources. So a couple of things happened last night. Kandi did perform some of our favorite songs. So it was a mix of singing, a mix of storytelling, and Rashida got bags. Her husband's a girl. Took the stage. Do y'all remember Kandi and Rashida had a group together? They've been friends a very long time. So they performed a song together. Rashida performed, I'm guessing, I'm going to make him marry me. Rashida, y'all can keep that in Atlanta. Let's bring someone else up for New York. Just a personal request. A personal request for New York. We don't, because I swear I might scream out, Rashida got bags. Her husband's a girl. No. So apparently, Kandi does open up during this one-woman show, according to my sources, about Todd cheating. But get this. She reveals during this one-woman show that that's not why she divorced him. She divorced him because he didn't fight for the marriage. It's like he just didn't care anymore. Wow. That's why she divorced him. And that frustrated Kandi because Todd did not fight for the marriage. So she was going to look past the cheating. And I kind of get that vibe from Kandi that, yeah, cheating is not necessarily a deal breaker. And some of you might say that's because they've welcomed, other people into their marriage. She's never claimed that they had an open marriage. Yes, have they had other people in their bed and had threesomes and things like that? Yes. But she confirms that he definitely cheated. But her problem was that he just started moving like he didn't care, that he wasn't trying to fight for the marriage. Yes, that was the word on the street. Let me see if I forgot anything. Please hold. Look, let me look at my notes. What else did he do? He didn't try. Oh, and he didn't apologize. Apparently, he did not apologize for cheating. Allegedly. My attorney in the chat's telling me allegedly. Hold on. That's not why Kandi left. She didn't leave because he cheated. She left because he didn't try, he didn't apologize, and he didn't fight for them. Apparently, he was disrespectful and didn't want to acknowledge what he did to her or the family. Wow. Am I surprised? A Leo man. A Leo man. So that's the reason why Kandi, and she reveals this during her one-woman show, why she left was because he cheated, but she left not because he cheated, but because he was so disrespectful with it, and he refused to apologize for it, and he didn't fight for the family. Jazzy says, hold on, let me get your comment, Jazzy. Jazzy says, can you blame him? Kandi allowed her mother to treat him like trash. But he still married her anyway. My thing is, when you take those vows, all of that stuff you put to the side. And we don't know what happened after they got married, whether or not the mom was still doing stuff like that. But he took vows, right? Here you go, Mr. Bella Magic. Mr. Bella Magic says, I couldn't deal with cheating unless he got some coin. Kemp, are you going to leave the billionaire if he cheats? I have to be in the situation. Because if we have a different situation, if we have an understanding, that's different. Am I going to be a ruler? No, I don't think I could do it, y'all. And honestly, once Nancy, my Vedic astrologer, comes through and we talk about this, no, I would have to leave. I would have to leave. There's something cosmically, energetically that's just not going to work when you cheat like that. That's energy. So BY says Todd has a huge ego. Apparently, but that's very Leo. Sorry, Leos. Calm down. Calm down. All right. Foxy says, I think he married her for a status. And I said this in my videos. I feel like he has the status now. He can get into rooms now because people know who he is. He's no longer the guy from behind the scenes. He's now a Broadway producer. He's now a big TV producer. Come on. Just saying. So that's what was revealed at Kandi's one-woman show last night. That's the word on the street. Guys, you're just joining us. I will be adding the timestamps later on today. I have a meeting after this, so I can't even be here long. I got to get off here before 4 o'clock. But later on today, I will be adding the timestamps. And if you've been missing our Real Housewives of Rhode Island recaps, I've been doing them on Tuesday Takeover. Be sure to check them out, and you'll see the timestamps there. Okay. Let me say thank you. Amy, thank you so much for the super chat. Amy says, hi, Kemp. I missed the RHOA live, but wanted to say I'm excited to see Cynthia's trip. And the last episode gave some old school RHOA vibes. I enjoyed it. A lot of people say they're excited for next week's episode, too. I'm excited because it's a nice girls' trip. I'm excited for that. And that's actually a perfect segue to what I want to talk about next. Maloney, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Maloney says, hi, Kemp. Did you watch PK's interview? No. First of all, I'm not going to watch the entire interview, but I will play a clip. I can't sit here and tell you that I'm going to sit and listen to PK. I can't. That's like listening to Dorit. No. But I will be playing a clip from his interview, okay? Because it's worth playing. Because I think now people are feeling a little sorry for PK. The tables are turning, Dorit. All right. Let's talk about RHOA and what's going on in RHOA world. Let's talk about... Where am I? K. Michelle. So K. Michelle is coming for me on social media. What did I tell you guys? For those that have been watching our Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps, what did I tell you? I already told you that I feel like K. Michelle is going to be very sensitive this season. You already see how she's reacting to Portia and what Portia said. And we were all like, I don't think Portia was coming for you. I think you're reading too much into this. And I said, she's not going to be able to handle what the fans have to say. And it's very clear that is exactly what's happening. Okay? Hold on. Let me just answer this. Satra, I know he was a producer. Well, he was technically he worked behind. Well, no. He wasn't a producer. He worked behind the scenes on RHOA. He started producing outside of RHOA during his relationship with Kandi. So Satra says, hi, Kemp. Todd was always a producer. Kandi said Todd hooked her up with her first acting gig. He wasn't always a producer. But he became a name after his relationship with Kandi. But he's always worked in TV, but he wasn't a producer. Remember, he did like the accounting for RHOA. All right, back to this. So K. Michelle's on social media, all of a sudden clapping back. Mind you, one of the things that she was clapping back at included me. And all I said, I reposted the preview for next week's episode. In the preview for next week's episode for Real Housewives of Atlanta, we get to see a little bit of what's going on with the trip. Apparently, the ladies had no idea what Cynthia meant by Dallas-esque clothing. And I love a theme. And I love that this whole trip is going to be sort of like a theme. So in the clip, K. Michelle talked about not having a prenup with Dr. Caston. You know, the guy that she's had on the show. But I've already told you, I'm kind of questioning this relationship. And I'm questioning the relationship. It's not because I'm a Johnny-come-lately when it comes to K. Michelle and her story. I know Caston's been around for a long time. It's the history around this relationship, but also the fact that you brought a different man to production before you brought Caston. Just saying, you told this story. I didn't make this story up. You freely gave this information to Jason Lee a couple of weeks ago. I'm just pointing out all the things. This is why I can't deal with Pisces. See? BY says, did she block you, Kemp? No, she didn't block me. She ain't that sensitive, but we'll see how the rest of the season goes. And my thing is, K. Michelle, if you're watching this, I'm not going to change my opinion because you follow me. I'm not going to change my opinion because we've interviewed before. I'm going to be a straight shooter. Pow, pow, pow. If you can't take it, stop watching. Stop watching. So I reposted and I said this: K. Michelle has no prenup with Dr. Caston. Hashtag RHOA. Is that too much? What I said in here, is that too much for y'all? Okay. Is that too much for y'all? What I said here, K. Michelle has no prenup with Dr. Caston. I didn't make that up. I got it from the preview for next week's episode. K. Michelle has no prenup with Dr. Caston. That is a fact. LH says she didn't block you yet. And I'm okay with it. She reposts this and says, and do you? I'm not married, K. Michelle. And also, I'm not going to wait for some man after 10 years of following this man or on again, off again relationship, bringing him on every different reality show. And then all of a sudden marry this man with no prenup. Okay? So I don't have a prenup because I don't have a man that I randomly married for a reality show. And I know you've known this man for a very, very long time. But it does feel very random. And then, you know, all the K. Michelle fans that were like, K. Michelle, you cleared. No, she didn't clear nothing. You didn't clear anything. And do you? What was that clearing? That is not a read. That is not a read. Okay? My goodness. The sensitivity. Can you imagine the amount of things that people are probably saying about K. Michelle on this show? This is what she decided to repost. K. Michelle has no prenup with Dr. Caston. It's a fact. You shared that on the show. It's a fact. I could have said more. And maybe next time I will. And do you? No, I don't. I'm not married to Dr. Caston. I'm not married to a man that's been stringing you along for 10 years. I'm not married to a man you decided to marry after you were about to get engaged to somebody else because he's been playing games for how many years? Huh? Are you okay? Oh, look, t-shirts. Go get it now. Look, t-shirt. Are you okay? Oh, it doesn't end there. I'm just addressing what she shared with me. So then she decided to go off on social media. Then I knew she was going through it. So K. Michelle, she was having a rant. She was like, shut the F up. I'm literally so annoyed and sick of y'all ass. Sit around and talk all day. I'm done with the shenanigans. I'm not an OG. I don't give an F. I am K. Michelle. I will speak as I want, tweet as I want, and marry who the F I want. Okay? I've been through hell with this man. None of you will validate what we are. I said what I said. Girl, you are way too sensitive for this show. And I knew it. I said, she's not ready. Roll the tape. Look, roll the tape. I said, she's not ready for the Bravo universe. You are on a reality show. You brought a relationship on a reality show. People are going to have their opinions. You need to get off the internet if you can't handle it. People have been real light when it comes to K. Michelle. Can you imagine if she was Drew Sidor or Kelly Farrell? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if she was Portia? They're getting it way worse than you are, K. Michelle. Buckle up. Buckle up. BY says, why no prenup? Ask her. Look, ask her. I don't know. Look, I don't care. I was pointing out what she said in the video, in the actual episode. But that was too much. Oh, look, she shook the table for K. Michelle. Shook the table. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Shook the table. Lord have mercy. All right. But she wasn't done. But K. Michelle wasn't done. She was going in. So she said all of that. A person responds and says, and there's that love and hip hop flavor I just knew you would bring. This is what the person commented after she said this. And then they said, bring Kenya right the F back. And then they at Bravo TV. So K. Michelle responds, is that supposed to be an insult? Because that's one that's played out also. The show gave me my opportunity and I'll always respect it. Funny how y'all racist towards your own people. You can cut the ish over with me. Through every mean attacking tweet you send, I see right through it. With compassion. It's obvious to everyone here you don't like yourself or maybe your mother doesn't like you. But either way, I love me. It's a part of my story. K. Have a blessed day. Okay, you can have your feelings. Because he actually came in your comment section and responded to you. But girl, this tweet, in comparison to what people have said about other housewives, go check Ashlee Darby's mentions. Go check that. Because you would not survive if they were calling you calling your forehead bumbles. Bumbus. Like you would way too sensitive. But I already told you guys, I already saw the writing on the wall. I said she's going to be too sensitive for this. I said she better prepare. And here we are. And here it is. Here it is. Exactly. DJ says, racist. I need people to understand what racism is. But okay. OMG Steph, thank you so much for the super chat. OMG says, did you watch Portia on Carlos King? When would I have had time? Y'all see I'm live at 2 p.m. When did that interview come out? Maybe like a couple hours ago. Did you watch Portia on Carlos King? She says she doesn't think K. Michelle's drama with Drew is going to go over as well as K thinks it will. I have a feeling too, just based off of what I'm starting to see from K. Michelle. That's why this is why I tell you not to be team anyone. Just watch it all play out. And you already know Drew is a tourist, so it's our time. It's our time. Way of Keith, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Way of Keith says, if Kimberly, here we go. That's what I'm gonna start calling her too, Kimberly. If Kimberly was confident in her relationship, the thoughts of strangers shouldn't affect her, especially a relationship that she's had apparently for many, many years. Not our fault that she had to wait for her husband to stop cheating so that she could rush down to a shotgun wedding. I'll just say allegedly. Okay. Don't come for a Virgo, because they'll read you for filth too. Miss Esquire, what's your read? I'm waiting on that one. Look, I didn't expect to have that much venom for her, but the more I sat here and I looked at it, and I was just like, I didn't even say anything bad. I'm pointing out what you said in the video. Okay, I see what you're doing there. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, what else I wanted to talk about? Let's talk about, what else did I have on my list of things that I wanted to talk about? Guys, as I'm doing this, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. You know, we covered the Ashlee Jenae story. You know, Ashlee Jenae, an influencer who went to Africa on a birthday trip and unfortunately, mysteriously passed away. They claimed that that she unalived herself. However, multiple people, including the family, believe that her fiance has something to do with it. We've covered this. We talked about it. We're not going to go through the details again. However, it seems as if, according to the family, shout out to my mixtapes on X, they said the family of Ashlee Jenae reveals her body was finally returned to the United States, but it was without her engagement ring. Because you remember, during this trip, she got engaged. She posted it on social media. So a lot of people are dragging the family. Why are they worried about an engagement ring? No. I think they're pointing it out because who has the engagement ring? Who took the engagement ring? Did the ex take the engagement ring back? Where is the ex? Remember, the ex, they haven't heard from the ex since her death. So for me, I'm sort of like, wait, so where is the ring? Did he take the ring back? What's going on? I see people making, not necessarily making excuses, but trying to take away from what happened to this young woman for every excuse. The fact that she's dating a white man, the fact that the way she may have talked about men before on her social media. Does that justify Ashlee dying? Are y'all okay? Sorry. But not sorry. Weirdos. Millie says, or maybe the hospital took. I don't know. But I definitely think it's important to note it. Like, where did the ring go? That is an item that belongs to her. Did the ex take it? Did the hospital take it? Did the morgue take it? All right. So I wanted to update you guys on that. We will keep you posted on what's going on when it comes to that story. All right, let's move on from there. Last night, since we were talking about Atlanta, last night I did get a chance to listen to the 13th District Congressional debate, which includes Married to Medicine star Dr. Heavenly. I'm going to play a clip from what she said. Shout out to our friends over at No Chaser TV. They actually have a clip here from the debate. I watched the entire debate. And shout out to Tyrese for giving us an idea of who these people are. First things first. District 13, I think whoever wins this, I think you guys are going to be fine. Because I felt like everyone on this debate stage were quality candidates. Honestly, if you watch a debate, you'll be like, oh no, like everybody here is educated, smart, passionate about what they're doing. I mean, I have some concerns. But again, this is not my district, and I will share my concerns, and I will tell you guys you can watch this on YouTube. Just put in like Dr. Heavenly Congressional debate. It should come up. Millie says, you watched the debate? I did, because I told you I've been itching to see them debate. And I have to give Dr. Heavenly credit. Dr. Heavenly has done her homework. She's definitely done her homework. She's definitely done like this 180 when it comes to how she presents herself. Let me play for you a clip from what Dr. Heavenly said last night during her debate for Congress. Hold on.
Dr. Heavenly Kimes, and I'm a little girl that grew up in a room with no windows. But my mother gave me a vision. She told me that if I worked hard, I could be anything I wanted to be. So I graduated at the top of my class and attended 2 HBCUs, Florida A&M University and Meharry Medical College, where I learned what it truly means to serve the underserved. It was there that I met my husband, Dr. Damon Kimes, and while we were in medical school, we got pregnant, and we had to depend on food stamps and WIC, not as a handout, but as a help up. Now I sit across patients every day who are facing the same struggles, choosing between paying their bills or getting the health care they need. We do not need another politician. We need someone who understands the struggles, but also the solutions, and someone who will fight for you. I'm Dr. Heavenly Kimes, and I'm ready to serve. My name is...
Okay, Dr. Heavenly Kimes, and she's ready to serve. I will say this. After watching the debate, I think she did well, but I don't think she was the best in comparison to everyone else that was up there. And shout out to Therese for giving us some information a few weeks ago about some of the candidates. Was it Jasmine Clark? She's one of the people running. First of all, there were quite a few doctors that are running for this seat. Educators, people that are well-versed. Dr. Heavenly, for me, although I think she handled herself really well, I don't think she was my top 3 of the people there. She was not in my top 3. Me personally, just from watching the debate and them talking about the issues and the questions that were given to them. I have a little concern about Jasmine in regards to the people that are donating to her campaign. This PAC group that's donated like $2 million to her campaign. She addressed that during the debate. But that's a concern for me because she was also confronted by Dr. Blair, who was once a front runner in this race. I don't believe he's the front runner right now, but he's definitely up there in regards to it. But he called out Jasmine for not denouncing the donations from this PAC. She says that she can't control, who donates to her campaign, which is true. But he says, why don't you denounce it? And I felt like she should have been able to answer that question, but I felt like they moved on very quickly from that moment when he was like, "Will you denounce the fact that these people have donated to your campaign?" And it didn't seem like she wanted to. And if you just do your homework in regards to why people do not want candidates that are receiving donations from these folks, it's because they feel like that's going to influence them once they're in Congress. So, so that was a hot topic of debate. But again, for those of you that are in the district and will be voting, I think you should go watch the debate so you can get a clearer picture on all the candidates. But like I said, I feel like all the candidates presented really well, including Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly, though, I will say that she wasn't the most polished in comparison to the rest of the folks. You could tell she was trying to be polished. For some reason, Dr. Heavenly was just sort of like looking like she was like trying to look serious. And I was just like, is she just trying a little too hard? But look, I appreciate her. She felt a little rehearsed. She felt a little stiff in comparison to the others. Like even the introduction, a lot of the folks that did their introductions, they weren't reading from a paper. They just presented like, this is who I am. This is, what I would like to do. Her media, I saw that she was reading from a paper and I was just like, I was like, okay. And then at the end, it was something very similar too. Dr. Blair was very impressive. Yes. Yeah. Tyrese says it's going to be Everton Blair for me. He was very impressive from beginning to end, well-spoken. People want to downplay him being younger. He's 30-something years old. But aren't you guys also tired of people that are quite older, not even in your age group, going to Congress and staying there for too long? Like the previous person that was in this role, who literally just passed away. He was 80 for a sidebar. He looked good for 80-something years old. I was like, he's 80? I was like, wow. But all right. Anyway, so I implore people that will be voting in this district to go watch the debate. Go educate yourselves on all of their platforms. Like I said, you guys have a wealth of candidates in regards to like actually quality candidates. Because I was also impressed by Jasmine Clark too. I was like, oh, I like her too. And I get why she was one of the front runners. But for me, Dr. Blair... yeah, I have to say, I'm like, okay, very impressive, very educated, Harvard and Stanford. I was like, all right, I see you, sir. So, but all of them very educated, including Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly just felt a little rehearsed. Tyrese, what did you think? For those, Tyrese that's in the chat, what did you think of Dr. Heavenly's performance? I know you are all about Dr. Blair, but what did you think? I thought she had a solid performance. I just don't think it was enough. Not for her to win this primary. I don't think that she will. Monet says Blair was great. CJ says, yeah, he was good. Again, it's going to come down to, I think, especially because you have such a wealth of candidates for this congressional seat, that's really just going to come down to what's important to you. But just very much like I would like to point out when it came to the national election, when it comes to the president, there were people that voted that were just thinking about their interests and not other people's interests. You should also be thinking about what is going to be important when it comes to the national interests as well. Just saying. All right. Amara says he's Jamaican too. Of course, Everton Blair. We already know Everton, and he's a Taurus. I did see. Didn't he mention that he was just celebrating a birthday? And he's a Taurus. This is our time. Don't be surprised. He's going to win. Tyrese, keep us posted on this election. I think he will win just off the strength of him being a Taurus. And if you don't get what I'm saying, it's our time. We're winning everything. Everything. Okay. P-Dub says media training versus what she's shown us. I wouldn't vote for her. And I see people getting upset when people say that they wouldn't vote for her. I'm like, y'all do realize it's a free country. I know it doesn't feel that way sometimes. It's a free country. People are entitled to say they don't want to vote for Heavenly. They've seen other side of Heavenly that a lot of the constituents probably have not seen on the reality show. They did mention, one of the other candidates mentioned her being on reality TV and asked her a question about that. I don't know. She felt a little too rehearsed for me. But again, I'm not in the voting, the voting pool there. Tyrese says she normally performs better. Okay, so I was wondering, Tyrese. Tyrese says she normally performs better than she did last night. She was racking up big endorsements, so who knows what will happen. I'll be voting this week. Love it. Thank you, Tyrese. Tyrese, keep us posted on this election. We appreciate you. because I really do feel like now more well informed just based off of the information we've been getting out from Atlanta and now watching the debate last night. I know Wave Key says, Wave Key says, not you claiming an April Taurus now, Kempire. It's still a Taurus. Look, the Taurus has got to stick together during our season. Okay. All right. Two Foxy says, Team Dr. Heavenly, but you're not voting in Atlanta. Two Foxy, Team Dr. Heavenly. Did you watch the debate? Did you watch the debate? Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Maloney says, thank you, Kemp, because I would not vote for Dr. Heavenly. All right. Tyrese, do we have an update in regards to who's the front runner right now when it comes to this election? Because I know the last time you told me Everton was he the lead at the time? But then I've heard that Jasmine Clark is in the lead. So keep me posted. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with many of the candidates, but who stood out to me definitely was Jasmine Clark and Dr. Everton Blair. Both of them are doctors. Dr. Jasmine Clark. We had a few doctors up there. We had like 4 doctors, right? Am I wrong? Maybe 5? There's like 4 doctors up there. I was like, all right. DJ says, what's wrong with an April Taurus? Let's not go there. let's not go there. Almost as lucky I'm in New York. Me too. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. What else did I want to talk about, y'all? Hold on. Let me just make sure, because, sometimes I start going on a tangent, and then I miss stories that I want to talk about. As I'm doing that, don't forget to like today's video. We already have 1,000 of you here, over 1,000 of you here. Be sure to like the video and make sure you're subscribed to Subscribers Only Live Chat. Let's talk about Summer House. So 2 more pieces of information came out, yesterday, including Andy. I'm sorry. Two more audios came out yesterday in regards to the reunion. Andy also came out talking about his frustration when it comes to this being leaked. Apparently, they figured it out. Bravo released a statement. Do I have Bravo's statement here? Let me bring up Bravo's statement. Bravo released a statement in regards to their investigation. And I'm just sort of like, okay. So apparently, it seems as if the person that did it was a crew member, from what we found out. But according to Andy, he says that it was a Bravo fan that helped figure the case out. All right. Oh, yeah, Tina, I did see that this morning, that Fannie Willis just endorsed Dr. Heavenly. Here's the thing. Dr. Heavenly is going to get a lot of these celebrity endorsements. I know Fannie is not technically a celebrity, but she really is a celebrity. She's going to be able to get these celebrity endorsements. At the end of the day, y'all need to stop paying attention to celebrity endorsements and do your homework before voting for someone. Just because someone you like endorses someone, please understand, and I'm not saying this about Fannie, please understand there are a lot of things that are brokered in these rooms. And because Dr. Heavenly mixes in these circles, is a celebrity name, probably friends. Do you want that type of person being elected too? Just saying. All right, let me see. Let me see if I can find Bravo. Did they post their statement here? Let me see if I can find it. Because they posted a statement that, oh, here it is. So Bravo posted this statement that they did investigate and they figured out who exactly got the Summer House audio from the reunion. So there was some speculation. Some people thought that it was someone on the cast. Why wouldn't we? Some people thought maybe it was the crew. Maybe it was someone from hair and makeup. It could be anyone at these reunions. There's so many people moving around. So Bravo released a statement yesterday, and they said an investigation into the recent leak of the Summer House reunion audio has concluded that the audio was unauthorized recording and distributed by an individual involved in the production of the reunion. As a result of the findings, appropriate action has been taken. I'm guessing they're fired. There is no evidence that any member of the cast was involved in the recording of the audio. We take these matters seriously and will continue to take appropriate measures to respond to the unauthorized distribution of our content. We are aware that there are additional improperly obtained audio circulating. So there was 2 more clips. Yeah, I'm not playing them for you. Okay. Eric Fuller has not worked for Truly Original in a hot second, y'all. I don't even know where Eric Fuller is working right now. Because remember the last time he was working in New York, and that's a different production company for RHORI. I don't think he's not working there either anymore. So they continue. It says, we take these matters seriously and will continue to take appropriate measures to respond to the unauthorized distribution of our content. We are aware that there is additional improperly obtained audio circulating, and we caution all parties and platforms to refrain from posting, sharing, or amplifying any unauthorized audio. So 2 more clips came out. I did hear them. I feel like the first clip was more, it said more, but what I got from the other clips is the fact that Amanda is not taking accountability. It's not going to end well for her, I believe, just based off of the audio that has leaked. One of the things, Kyle Cook, her estranged husband, called out Wes because he says, I think it was Bravo and Cocktails on their Threads account, said that Wes said that he was going to have Amanda's back, leave Amanda alone. He said on his podcast, leave Amanda alone, blah, blah, blah. And everyone, based off the audio, he sounds real mute during this. Let me see if I can see Bravo and Cocktails. I know I had dropped it somewhere. I don't know if I can find it. But Kyle was in the comment section basically saying during the reunion that Kyle was mute. He didn't have Amanda's back when she was in the line of fire at this reunion. So that's Kyle, who was actually at the reunion saying, yeah, Wes is a punk. Are we surprised? I'm not surprised by that at all. He's been a punk. He's always wanted just fame and attention. And now he's got it. And the fact that people are blaming the woman here, the married woman, more so than him. And I do see people giving it more to Amanda, but maybe they're giving it more to Amanda because Amanda was supposed to be a friend to Sierra. So Kyle is basically calling Wes out for not supporting Amanda. All right. Exactly. Maya says, Kyle is always in the comment section. I need Kyle to go worry about that business. And sobriety. Look at sobriety. TJ says, Kyle and Wes sucks. Yeah, because look. I mean, the reason why she's out in those streets is because you were such a terrible husband. Just saying. It's B703. Thank you so much for super chatting, for being a member. It's B says, I was waiting to see when the honeymoon phase was going to be over for you and K. Michelle Kemp. You know what? There was no honeymoon phase at all. There was no honeymoon phase. But I knew it. I already called it in regards to K. Michelle being too sensitive on this show. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Kendra says, Bravo completed the Summer House leak in 2 days, but not the Ramona racist scandal. This surviving Andy doc is going to be so good. I thought the same thing, too. I was like, they completed the investigation and found out who did what immediately? Wow, I found that to be interesting. Let's get into what Andy Cohen had to say on his Sirius XM show.
Thursday was the Summer House reunion. And I have to say this. When I first listened to this audio, I was just like, Andy is such a hard, I'm sensitive to voices, and it's not necessarily his voice. It's the way he drags out his story and tells a story. I'm just like, get to it. It was truly not only one of the most emotional reunions that we've ever shot, but it was one of the most emotionally draining. There were so many emotions on that stage. Deep anger, deep hurt.
How many hours?
We started rolling around 10:30 and we wrapped around 8, I guess. Took an hour lunch. The thing about it is that this situation has truly sent shockwaves through this group. And I know that's like a Chris Harrison kind of,
Foxy's
oh my God, the most dramatic rose ceremony ever. But it really has.
Millie says he oversells it always. Because here's the thing. We have to remember, Andy Cohen is I know he has no control over there at Bravo, but we can't deny his influence. And he basically is a network puppet. So he has to sell it too. And he has to sell it. And this is probably why they keep him as the host of everything on Bravo, is because he has these platforms where he can be like, get that the Summer House reunion was so amazing. It was so amazing.
Shockwaves through the group in ways that even I didn't realize until I sat there looking in the faces and hearing from some of these housemates. So anyway, it was very intense, and I got home and I needed to kind of de-stress. I had eye surgery Friday morning at 7. I had to be there at 6:45 in the morning for the surgery. They had to correct something in the eye that had the cataract done.
But this is not lost on me, y'all, because I've been saying this about Andy hosting the Summer House reunion. This is not his demo. These are 20, 30s, early 40-year-olds. And I said, why do they have Andy Cohen, who's what? How old is Andy? He's 50-something years old? Don't get me lying. It might be 60 by now. And I'm like, and I'm not age shaming. It just doesn't make sense to have someone in his age bracket hosting a show like this. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm in this moment when he talks about having cataract surgery, I said, the jokes make themselves here. I was like, and this is just a reminder, like, this is not it. But okay, fine.
So Thursday night, I had a cocktail. I went to bed early thinking, I have to be up early. But I was buzzing all night from this reunion. I was like, my body was so unsettled. I think I was unsettled about the surgery the next morning. I kept waking up. Finally, I'd wake up at 5:30 or 6 to go to the thing. I go online.
J. Pooh says he'll be 58 in June. Lord have mercy.
And I see that there's been a leak of audio from the Summer House reunion.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that I was mad,
I'm sure.
I felt
Amaya says Andy from those clips was having a hard time moderating the Summer House reunion anyway. And here's the thing. When I talk about host, this is part of my job, y'all, because I know there will be someone in the comment section, you just want to be the host. No, I don't. Y'all keep wanting me to be the host of stuff that I don't want. I want my daytime talk show. I am not interested in hosting Watch What Happens Live. I'm not interested in hosting any of these reunions. I have no interest, okay? I'm not trying to be a Bravo mascot. So let me just make that clear.
felt like a
violation.
Thank you. So I was going to say betrayal, but a violation. And I just thought, wow, hear this cast. They all showed up and they all laid themselves totally barren.
Elizabeth says they were going to make Amanda and West look good. And someone said, not so fast. I think this is a real Amanda we are seeing. Friend to none. They just clean up her image all these years. Yeah, because if you listen to that audio, not very likable. Not very likable. I thought this was interesting what he was saying about the cast bearing their soul.
And just a leak. It just totally demeans the work of this crew and this cast, and especially, again, just all of them for just showing up and sitting there and taking it. And I'm on Threads on my way to this eye appointment. I am now in a foul mood.
You found out from Threads, or you found out some other way?
No, I found out from when I woke up, yeah. Because it seemed like it happened in the middle of the night. It happened overnight. And
it did happen in the middle of the night. I literally randomly, and mind you, I have all my comment stuff turned off, but I randomly saw a comment where someone would say, Kempire, get on the computer. It was like, I don't remember what time this was. It was late. Get on the computer. Audio leaked. I was like, oh no. I said, I'll see that in the morning. I was like, boundaries.
So, and then there were these hot takes blaming the cast, which I knew immediately, I was like, the cast did not leak this. They're like, oh, the cast leaked it.
Yeah.
Bravo leaked it.
Yeah.
Just dumb takes and reason.
Andy, let me know that I know you blocked me, but you might be still watching the content. He's really bothered by people saying that the cast may have leaked it, that maybe Bravo may have leaked it. People are going to speculate regardless. Based off of the audio, first of all, it could have been cast. It's not like you tell the cast not to bring their phones on set. It's not like their phones are kept in the room. Sometimes we see at the Housewives reunions, we see them have their phones with them. Anyone could do this. Not saying that they would. I saw KJ was in his feelings. Was like, I wouldn't jeopardize my job. Well, we didn't think that you did it, KJ. I said I wouldn't put it past Thirsty Midwest for doing it. But I find it so interesting. He's so upset that people would think that the cast would do this or that, Bravo would do this. That's because you guys have done some allegedly underhanded things in the press before. And I call it out every time.
That's why they would have leaked it. To get a better edit, to get a worse edit, to protect themselves, to combat others. I was like,
No.
This is stupid. And I love this cast. And I was like, oh, now people are blaming this cast. And then I will say, I felt so bad in the next 24 hours after that the cast was like, feeling the need to come out and say, I didn't do it. I didn't leak it. So I was like, oh, I was so... Like, don't you worry. Meanwhile, I love Cagney and Lacey. So they had investigators, and they had, Jordan, you'll like this, audiologists. I mean, they didn't really have audiologists, but they had people analyzing what kind of device recorded, whatever. I mean, they had investigators. So now I'm home. So Graciela takes me home. Now I'm home recuperating. Friday night, the investigators were on.
BY says, I never saw anyone blaming the cast. I don't know who. I know I said it could be. I said it could be a cast member. I'm just saying, if we're trying to figure out who could have leaked this based off the audio, I'm like, well, it sounds like it was someone that was close to this one. It sounded very like on set. But then I said also in the control room, you can have a lot of that information. So Janelle says, when Andy said that he was proud of Bravo content creators for not playing the audio on their platforms, he needs to know people know how litigious Bravo and nobody wants a lawsuit. Stop playing. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Look.
And all I can tell you, and you will hear more about this later, but a Bravo fan came forward. And let me tell you that Bravo fans are the best. And may I also thank the Bravo fan accounts, the dedicated Bravo fan accounts, none of whom posted this illegal. Anyway, so the Bravo fan accounts, they really respected that, which I thought was so cool. And they weren't, by the way, they also weren't posting any garbage hot takes blaming the cast. But
why are you talking about people's garbage hot take? It's not a garbage hot take to assume audio from a stage could be a possible cast member. And I see you guys saying that Reddit was blasting the cast. Reddit was also saying that maybe it was West as well. The people talking about your show helps your show no matter what. He seems so bothered. You've been in this industry for too long to be this bothered, sir.
Let me say that though this team of investigators were
Amaya said, I zoned out. Andy is taking a while. I told you it was hard. You see what I have to do in order to bring you a story?
A Bravo fan who you're going to hear more about cracked the case. All right. Delivered crucial information.
Jan, as soon as I saw your comment and then he went, Jan says the in the background like he's saying anything profound. You know what Andy likes. Andy likes yes people. And this is Andy's co-host. This is Andy's ex-boyfriend. You think he's going to give any pushback to Andy? No.
I want a documentary about this fan.
John, I cannot wait.
Oh my God.
So, So there you go. And Bravo has since released a statement, and there you go. And also, there's, according to Bravo, I know that they said we are aware there is additional improperly obtained audio circulating, and we caution all parties and platforms to refrain from posting, sharing, or amplifying any unauthorized
There's more out
video.
there?
There is apparently some more audio.
From the same source? Maybe.
So anyway, it ruins the integrity of the show and all the hard work of the cast who we love, and we love this show. So
I bet
anyway.
you do. I bet you Eddie does. I'm sorry y'all had to. Normally, if I could speed it up, I would. But I wanted to stop and go and talk about some of the things that he was saying. I'm sorry I had to put you guys through that. But if I had to listen to it multiple times, you do too. Okay. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget you can hear our Tuesday takeover along with special episodes, cleaned up, edited, bonus episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today. And for those who don't know, Are You Okay merch is now available. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and your travel mugs, your coffee mugs as well. Go check it out. houseofkempire.com. That's HAUS of Kempire.com. Mods, can we just post a link to the merch store? Go get your Are You Okay merch today. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Was there anything else I wanted to say about Summer House? Congratulations to Sierra Miller. We already talked about this. She's going to be on Dancing with the Stars. She was on the cover of Glamour magazine. She's going to be the special guest at the Girl Scouts. They're having a big gala, so she's going to be the special guest there. She's got a lot coming up for her, and I'm happy for her. Congrats. Congrats. Let's get into my final story that I want to talk about. Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I am enjoying it. We're on episode 5. I think it is an amazing show so far. Just because, here's why I think Rhode Island is working. And the reunion is going to be interesting to me because I'm not sure if this is working because they had so many months of editing. But I think it's working because there is history. Not necessarily these women have been besties for many, many years, but there is connections throughout this group, either be through the husbands, family members, things like that. It's a very small townish. Oh man, I forgot to, did I say the video here? There was a video that was circulating online about Kemsely, basically saying that Kemsely basically came on this show not to break up with her ex, well, her boyfriend, the one that's banking her lifestyle. Apparently, they had broken up by the time she got on the show. That makes sense to me. That really makes sense to me because it's like, this is interesting that you would come on the show and expose that you're a kept woman and he has another woman in another city. I felt like this was sort of a setup. And she also said that he's a big fan of Real Housewives. So I wouldn't be surprised that she was like, we're broken up, but can I do this? Can I film in your home? It's easy to film in the home. He's not there during filming. Can I film in your home? This would be a great opportunity for me to kind of take care of myself, blah, 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 blah. So that's the word on the street. Okay. Let's get to this week's episode. If you guys had to rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? This was a really good episode because Brian, Rula, what am I supposed to do with Rula? Rula, there's nothing that I can do for you right now. And for those that don't know who Rula is, there's nothing I can do. You like it, I love it for you. She's just turning a blind eye to this divorce, this cheating. And I think what's happening with Rula is that she's been divorced before. She doesn't want to have a second divorce because the first divorce was probably terrible, especially within her community, culturally. And I'm just like, Rula, he's cheating on you. And he's an ugly, ugly man. When she said to Joe Ellen, he goes to the gym every morning. Joe Ellen looked at her, does he look like he goes to the gym? I said, Joe Ellen, tell us how you really feel. That was a really good moment, Joe Ellen. You secured your spot. This is a good cast, though. I can't say there's anyone in this cast that I'm like, I don't want to see. I like Ashlee. I know people are like, oh, Ashlee's boring because Ashlee's not turning up. All these women turn up. We don't need everybody turning up. Ashlee's very likable. I like her. I think she's a good addition to the show. I think partially they put her on the show because, again, the Rhode Island connection, but also the Bachelor Nation. They want that audience, especially for a new show. Oh, no, there is one person I could do without. Dolores. We're 5 episodes in. Yes, Dolores has been a part of this cast. She's brought absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what she's probably going to do with New Jersey. Y'all, I found out when New Jersey is going to start to film. They're going to be filming soon. In a couple of weeks. Actually, like 3 weeks. They're going to start filming for Housewives of New Jersey. You didn't hear that from me. No, you did hear that from me. Cite your source. Cite your mother source. Okay? Real Housewives of New Jersey is going to start filming in a couple of weeks. I know the exact date, but I'm not going to say it. Okay? Dolores, back to Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I think Dolores is a lovely. I always give the disclaimer because I've only heard good things about Dolores from multiple people, from content creators to housewives. Dolores is a real nice woman. Terrible reality television. She has not brought anything to this new cast. They could have done this show without her. The show so far has been really, really good so far. This week's episode was good. If I had to rate this week's episode, I'm going to give it a 9. Just because of the amount of drama that was going on in this episode and that man running away. Do y'all believe that Brian really went to go see the mistress and claimed that his mother was sick, but dropped off his wife at home? But if the mama was sick and the mom and the father were taking care of the kids, unless the mom was sick and he just dropped her off and then he went to go check on the mistress, the whore. Alicia is still my fave. She is just so damn, even in the after show when they talk about Alicia leaving crazy voice notes to them, she is comedy gold. She is just so herself, so funny. I adore her. She's my favorite on this show. So if you guys are asking me, do you have a favorite on the show? It's Alicia. Because I think she's sweet, but she also has that gutta part of her that I can appreciate. And I appreciate she's making her own coins right now. Okay? Jess says, so you believe Brian actually went to go see the whore. Okay. And I like Rosie a lot. And it's not just because she's a Taurus like me, with a Leo moon like me. Who would have thought? We have both a Leo moon. But she's great for the show. She's great commentary. Everyone hates her, according to my sources. Everyone hates her on this cast. Well, except Ashlee. Everyone seems to hate her. She's definitely getting iced out this season. I told you, word on the street, allegedly, there's a rumor that Rich, her husband, is gay. That's one of the rumors that the ladies are talking. But we know they do this with husbands a lot on these shows. That's a rumor. Okay. Onalia says that Rula is Delulu. I don't know if she is Delulu. I don't think Rula is Delulu. I think Rula is probably plotting and planning her next moves. Because remember, I also told you a story about how Rula went to the police department believing that her husband put a tracking device on her and she had him arrested. I think she threatened this man. She was like, you know what? You're going to do right by me. I'm not going through another divorce. You're going to leave this mistress alone, or I'm going to make sure these charges stick. Because the only reason why he wasn't, the charges didn't move forward was because she said, I'm not going to testify in this. I'm not going to be a part of this. Sin and Joe says, does Rosie like her husband? I'd never get that vibe. I already told you I don't get the vibe that she likes her husband. Okay. Well, that part, Millie says she insinuates he's gay too. The way Rosie speaks about her husband is cringe. I'm not going to deny that. I agree. Oh, Alma says, wow, I must have missed you telling us about the tracker. Which episode was that I recapped, y'all? It wasn't the last week Tuesday takeover. It was probably or maybe it was the last Tuesday takeover. Does anyone remember? I went through all the articles, Alma. It's either last week's or the previous week where I go over the articles that were in the Rhode Island newspaper. K Baby says, I like Alicia and Liz. I like Liz for different reasons, meaning like I like her vibe. She seems down to earth. You know, like he what did she say? He still is, ma. Like she's very real. That's what I like about Liz. But I wouldn't want to be friends with Liz because I feel like you say the wrong thing to Liz and she's gonna be upset and be mad at you. You know what I mean? But Alicia, I feel like we would have a good kiki. Oh, thank you, Jesse. Jesse said it was last week, Alma, that I reported. Like that feels so long ago to me. So it was last week. Thank you. Fit Cookie says it was last week's Tuesday takeover. I'm pretty sure it probably was last week's Tuesday takeover. It just feels just so long ago. But yeah, that's where I covered the two stories in regards to Brian getting arrested for the tracker, the lawsuits that he's facing. We talked about a lot last week. There are timestamps for that one as well. For those that also want that information. WaveQ says, Alicia, Rula, and Joe Ellen are my faves. Honestly, here's the thing about Rula. Rula's bringing a lot this season in regards to her own story. I think I like everyone on this cast. The only person on this cast I do not... Okay, liking is different. When I say everyone in this cast is bringing it and is important to the cast, I don't like everyone on the cast. Kemsely, buckle up. I don't love Kemsely. Let me get into this week's episode. This is episode 5 of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. If you missed any of our recaps before, be sure to check them out. Tuesday Takeover. We did do one recap on a Friday live, but that was like the premiere episode of Rhode Island. All right, so Liz and Joe Ellen go to Alicia's home. There's so many little cute, little funny moments with Alicia. I can't keep up with them. Joe Ellen's grandfather has passed away, and he really stepped up when her father passed away. He even walked her down the aisle. So she says her grandmother was like her grandfather was like a second father to her when her father passed away. So the ladies, Liz and Alicia, catch Joe Ellen up on what happened at the last event between Alicia and Rosie and how that played out, but they got over it very, very quickly. Alicia says, this is, again, very cute moment with Alicia. Alicia's like, whore. She's like, whore is like a Rhode Island thing. It's not really any necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that we say. Exactly. Christian says, I love a horse. That is Alicia. She's like, I love a horse. And then she says it on the bus when they're going to the polo. And she's like, I love a horse. They all start laughing. She's like, why? Why? Christian says, I love a cracker. Alicia. She said, and honestly, this is who she is. During the after show, they're playing voice notes from Alicia because she refuses to text. She recently learned how to voice note. So she's sending them all kinds of voice notes that don't necessarily make any sense. And she's just like, I'm going to come over. I'm in the middle of something and you should have, but bye. Mind you, they're still in the middle of conversation, but at the end of every voice note, she's like, bye-bye. I'm like, or goodbye, or something like that. I forgot what she said exactly. Millie says she's so genuine. I love it. All right. So Alicia's just like, who was a Rhode Island thing? Liz says that Rula is visibly going through it and believes that Rula doesn't want to know if her husband is cheating. After this week's episode, it's very clear that Rula knows something's going on and she just wants to blame Joellen. Joellen, you need to let it go. Because now if you keep pushing the narrative about him cheating and acting like you're concerned about Rula, she's not concerned. So as long as he's not going to your place of employment again and trying to get you fired, I think I need you to let it go. She has to let it go at this particular point. Theo says Alicia's on her own planet. And I'm here for it. Mia says, I love voice notes. Everyone overseas uses them, but over here, not so much. I mean, yeah, I feel like me and my friend groups are doing more and more voice notes. And you're right. WhatsApp is voice notes are big. Sometimes it's just easier to get your point across. I just don't, if you listen to Alicia's voice notes, I don't think she's getting her point across. That's the thing. It's even more confusing. Analia says Alicia cracks me up. Foxy says Joe Ellen really needs to let it go. She does. Clearly, this week's episode should have been the final straw for Joe Ellen. She was just like, this is what I know. People are telling me things. Then let it go. Rula's big issue with Joellen. It's the fact that she feels like she's like a high schooler and she's on the megaphone talking about my life and things like that. Now I can kind of see that, but now she clearly is not concerned. Let it go. Winter says, ever since I became a mom, I'm a voice note queen. I get it. All right, let's move on. So Kelsey and Ashlee meet up at Kelsey's mansion. Well, her boyfriend's mansion. Kelsey clearly likes to do hair and makeup, so she decides to do Ashlee's makeup. Ashlee's a big time influencer. You know, she has a Bachelor Nation. That's how she makes a lot of her money. And of course, Kelsey's like, you know, come over, let me do your hair. So she'll post it. So she says she has a passion for hair. She says it. What did she say? She's never had to have a career. When she met her boyfriend, she was a waitress. Word on the street, you were something else, but I'm gonna leave that alone. That's the word on the street, y'all, and it wouldn't surprise me because just based off of her history, she lost her virginity at 14. I feel like she was groomed by this older man, allegedly. But she says that she was a waitress when she met her husband. No, her boyfriend. I'm putting quotes, her boyfriend. Kelsey says that it's scary. It's a scary thought that if she was to ever break up with her boyfriend, that she would miss out on his life. She's been with him for 10 years. You know what I mean? BY says Kelsey did a great job with Ashlee's hair. Yeah, I mean, she's apparently talented. And look, between doing hair and being on this show, she is starting to make a living for herself. And I think that was the whole point of coming on this show, so that she would have her own. Wave Keith says waitress must have been her alias name. Theo says at 14 is very concerning. We've talked about that, her losing her virginity at 14 and then getting with this older man at 19. And his kids are 3 years younger than she is? Look. BY says Kelsey is a former beauty queen. Remember, she told us that he was the one to encourage her to do pageants. All right. Kelsey says that she's upset. So here's the thing. Kelsey says she's upset with Rosie because Rosie got her hair done by Kelsey and she never posted it. So she says she has a problem with that. She's like, you know, Rosie posts everything. And, you know, any other makeup artist or, you know, hairstylist she works with, she posts them. Here's the thing. Please understand, when people post makeup artists or hair or a product or something, a lot of times it's transactional, meaning like there is an understanding. There's a conversation. If I do your hair for free, will you post? And then you take pictures in the moment. Later on, we find out they didn't even do any of that. I think Kelsey was trying to have an issue with Rosie because everyone else, we're not seeing the entire season, but I believe everyone else at this particular point was having an issue with Rosie. They don't like Rosie for whatever reason. And I feel like she wanted to jump on the bandwagon. I bet you she wouldn't have had this issue with Liz because she's scared of Liz. Mr. Millenback said, I would have slapped her just for that. Lord have mercy. Why are you so violent? Exactly. Kai says, this is such a millennial Gen Z fight. I love it. Yeah. Fighting over you didn't post me. But my understanding, plus Dino, you're right, Lexi, plus Dino. We haven't forgot about the Dino Kelsey of it all. I just feel like when Rosie explained it, I was like, oh, now I completely understand where Rosie's coming from. You guys had no conversation about it, and she paid you for the haircut, and you're a newbie in doing it. She paid her $150 for a haircut. And you never asked for her to post it. Because then maybe you could have had a conversation. You know, if I post it, I don't have to pay you. And when she reached out to you about paying you and you refused, like, you know, you don't have to pay me. You could have said, you know, instead of paying me, can you post? Can you take a picture and post it and tag me? You didn't even do that. So it feels like she's just trying to have an argument Okay. I agree. Jesse, we talked about this. Rula is a financial advisor / planner. Their job is to find the money to help you save and invest. She knows what's going on. Yeah, I'm not worried about Rula. I'm not worried about Rula when it comes to her money. But I'm worried that she's deciding to stay with a cheater. And I do believe, Joelle, in the mistress, that Brian wants Rula to file for divorce and leave her. But okay. Winter says she could have went to the Dominican salon for $30. Do they have a Dominican salon in Rhode Island? The same. Jan says that fight was hilarious. Very Fiery says, I guess you can't have it both ways. Way of Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Way of Keith says Rula wants her husband to cheat on her in peace, and that's not possible if y'all keep bringing it up. I want her and her delusion on for 5 more years. Here's the reason why I want Rula to stay on. Yeah, she has a very dynamic storyline happening right now, but I feel like Rula is going to be one of the people to give us an actual, like, if she's going to throw an event, it's going to be like a big event kind of thing. I feel like she has the finances to do those things. Liz, I feel like, can do those things. I don't think Rosie can do those things. Kelsey can probably technically do those things, but I don't think so. Joellen, I don't think can afford to do those things. So I think Alicia can. I think we're starting to see more and more Alicia's funds. Yes, it's not her personal funds, but her fiance is not hurting. All right. Moving on from there. All right. So at the end of that scene, Kelsey and Ashlee end up taking a photo together and posting it on her socials. Which at the end of the day, I don't know how big Rosie's socials are, but Ashlee's socials are, I'm sure, way bigger. She has a whole Bachelor Nation behind her. P-Dub says Rula's family talked her into staying. Probably, especially if this would be her second divorce. And we saw what they said a couple of weeks ago. Or was it last week? It was probably last week's episode. All right. Speaking of Rosie, Rosie has her gay friends host a party. And she invites some of the girls to this party. So this is where the conversation between Kelsey and Rosie ends up happening. Joellen sees Rula for the first time since the party. It's a little awkward, whatever it may be. I noticed Rula likes a good drink. Y'all notice that? We were talking about her drinking last week. It was funny when she was a little tipsy. Liz offers to help the boat crew. And then as she offers to help the boat crew, one of the boat crew falls over. That was a pretty bad fall. I was like, oh, is he okay? Are you okay down there? Liz and Jerry lived on a boat. For the winter in Palm Beach. We later see a scene right after this scene with Liz and Jerry on their boat that they recently sold. Rosie says that she has anxiety in this group. So you're already starting to see Rosie feels already alienated from this group. So she has anxiety. She says because she feels like it's never going to be good enough for them. So she feels like she's always trying to prove something to this group. Kelsey decides to confront Rosie about not posting when she did her hair and gave her a haircut. So Rosie is, and this is where we get a better perspective as to what exactly happened with this situation. Because based off of what Kelsey said, like, oh, she just doesn't post it and she posts everything. And Rosie says, we never took pictures of the haircut. Rosie says that Kelsey had her certificate for like 2 minutes. Rosie is a top tier housewife when it comes to her confessionals. She definitely delivers in her confessionals. She's like, you've had your certificate for 2 minutes. So Rosie says that if Kelsey had asked her, she would have posted it. So let me just say this. Rosie is a Taurus, like me. If Rosie was really impressed with the haircut, not saying that she wasn't, but if she was really impressed, she would have posted it. She would have. But I think, and that's why she paid her. She was just like, thank you so much for the haircut. And she did pay her for it. Rosie then says, I know you, she says in her confession, she says, I know you're used to people for, I know you use people for everything, but you're not about to use me for clout. Rosie is very good in her confessionals. I know you're used to using people for everything, but you're not about to use me for clout, is what Rosie says about Kelsey. And honestly, that lands because of who Kelsey is. But I do feel like Kelsey was dragging it. I feel like Kelsey was reaching. Because I was like, I don't understand why you'd be upset. Literally, when you guys had a conversation about payment, that was your opportunity to be like, you don't have to pay me, but could you post? Wave Key says Rosie was like, thank you for your services. And you got paid for your services. You also got a message from her thanking her for the haircut and saying that you liked the haircut. If you wanted her to post it, you should have asked. You should have asked. Amanda says that was a read. It was. Rosie is a top tier housewife. Rosie, don't let them run you off this show. She said, I know you use people, but you're not about to use me for clout. Kelsey, I feel like you were reaching for some sort of issue with Rosie because everyone else has an issue with Rosie. Maybe you just don't like Rosie. You've been making snarky remarks about her the entire season. But I felt like this was definitely a reach. There really was no issue here. All right. So then we go into the scene with Liz and Jerry on their boat. Jerry is selling the gypsy because he's had enough. You know, he's about to be a grandfather as well. Apparently, Jerry and Michael Jordan fished against each other in a tournament. We literally see on the boat some of the tournaments he's been in and how much money he's won from these tournaments. There was a check for $500 and something thousand. There was another check for $16,000. Then there was another check for $200 and something thousand. So I was like, this was a lucrative career. But he was gone for such a long time. He was gone for like 3 weeks out of the month. So her frustration with him, that was Liz's frustration with him. So she gets emotional talking about it with him and says that, you know, on some level she resented Jerry when he would be away for weeks at a time. But he says now that it's a new chapter and he's excited to be, you know, for the grandbaby. So this was a cute scene and clearly something they've talked about a lot during the season. So this was sort of like a closing to the issues that they had when it comes to him being away for so long. It would have been interesting to film this reality show while this was happening. You know what I mean? But okay. All right. So in this next scene, Rula and Joellen meet up to have a conversation. Rula claims that Joellen has been like a high school girl with a megaphone. Who wants to hear Rula's business? At this particular point, if Joellen keeps talking about it, it's going to feel that way. Because at this particular point, you already went to Rula to have a one-on-one, to have a conversation about this, and she doesn't care. She's downplaying it. She's making it seem like you're the problem here. So Rula claims that the affair is not ongoing, and Joellen says, it's still happening. She's like, it's still happening. Rula says that she does want to know what's going on. She's not some wallflower. She wants to know what's going on, but clearly you don't. Joellen shows Rula text messages. Joellen says she knows the mistress because their children went to daycare together. The mistress claims that she and Brian are in love, and he's waiting for Brian to leave. He's waiting for Rula to leave Brian. We've heard the story time and time again about the mistress and the man, and she's, he's going to leave his wife for me. He loves me. And 9 times out of 10, he never does. So Rula refuses to believe it. And she says these text messages that Joellen is showing her, she's like, she likes to use AI. She's faked things before. She then says that Brian claims the mistress is unstable and it's like fatal attraction. I'm telling you, after this conversation, I would be done with trying to convince Rula. This is someone's marriage with children. I'm not going to argue with you. I put the information out there. It's out there. And if someone was to ask me if he's still cheating, and I know something like he's still cheating, but she's okay with it. Fox is maybe they have an open relationship and they can't admit it because culture maybe. I don't know. There are a lot of people with open relationships that we don't know about. They just don't talk about it. Look, but when you're on a reality show, it's a little bit different. All right, guys, before I move on, I completely forgot. We got ads to play. Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows. Period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the hit new series Love Thy Nader, featuring superstar model Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud. And revel in show-stopping fashion competitions, including the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff. Just thousands of episodes of the very best in reality TV every single day. Because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply. Okay, I get it. It's not a new year, but it can still be a new you. As you know, we've partnered with Factor many, many times, and this is no different. But let me paint a picture for you. Hunger strikes, and you're exhausted. I know it, especially on a busy day. There's something healthy in your fridge or pantry that you should be making, but you don't have it in you. Relatable, right? For me, eating healthy isn't a willpower problem. It's a setup problem until I found Factor. As you know, I have a busy schedule. Sometimes there's breaking news and I do not have the time in me to cook that meal or prepare for that meal. With Factor, I'm hitting my nutrition goals this season without the planning, grocery shopping, or cooking. What I also love about Factor is that you're getting great quality meals, dietitian approved meals. Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's weight loss, overall nutrition, more protein, or GLP-1 support. For strength and workout recovery, check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. As I've mentioned many times before, Factor meals are crafted with functional ingredients from lean proteins, colorful veggie, whole foods, and healthy fats. Factor bans 175 plus ingredients, no artificial colors, no sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, and no refined seed oils. And most importantly, convenience. Ready in 2 minutes, Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers straight to your door so you have more time for everything you love this spring. Head to factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details. More details on Factor and your discounts will be available in the description. Thanks, Factor. And we're back. So back to our Real Housewives of Rhode Island recap for our Tuesday takeover. If you haven't already, be sure to like today's video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, who subscribes to the podcast? Let me know. Replay crew, let me know if you're subscribed to the podcast as well. Subscribe today, Kempire King of Pop Culture, on your favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So back to this, and Rulala and her delusion. Okay. Rulala and her delusion. So she says that the mistress, she doesn't believe the text messages. She says the mistress, she uses AI. Oh, Rula, I can't. And she loves to bring up the fact that she has a GPS tracker on Brian, which is so interesting when you see the story that we did about Brian putting a GPS tracker on her. I was like, what? If you have to do all of this, it's just not worth it. If I have to track and feel this way about you the rest of my life, I'm done with you. I can't. So Rula says that Brian claims the mistress is unstable and it's like fatal attraction. She says that, I don't know what you're talking about. I got a GPS tracker on him. Joellen says Brian brings the mistress coffee every morning. Not coffee every morning. And Rula said Brian goes to the gym every morning. Joellen, in an iconic Housewives moment, does Brian look like he goes to the gym every morning? Yes. Look, yes. Does Brian look like he goes to the gym every morning? No, he doesn't. He does not. I don't know what else. I'm going to leave it alone. Does he look like he goes to the gym? Mm-mm. And then Rula, I don't know how I would feel because it's not me you're talking about. I know it's my partner you're talking about. I think in that moment I would bust out laughing. I'm like, you know what? That is not funny. That is not funny. Kai says Joellen is the housewife of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. She really brought it in that moment. All right, let's move on from that scene because Rula is delusional. Rula, as you guys said, is Delulu. Okay. DC says Joella did not have to say that about that man. I'm glad she did though, because she was just like, let me drive a point home. Does he look like he's hitting that gym? All right. Thank you, Melly. Appreciate the support. All right. Let's talk about Alicia's polo event. So Alicia's hosting this polo event. She invites everyone to the what's it, Angelo's? This is one of the restaurants that her fiance owns with his family. I just like how I know she doesn't have her own money, but she's in a relationship with someone that does. And I hope from doing this show and doing other things, and I hope I do see them getting married. Do you guys see them getting married? I do see them eventually getting married. Okay. But I'm sure there'll be some sort of prenup. He needs to put her name on the house. Something. All right. Chocolate Soul says he's hitting something every morning. So Alicia's polo event. So Kelsey says that Bill is Bill is the other guy that she's dating, but he doesn't have the cachet to support her. That's why she's not leaving her current man. So, but she's filmed with him a couple of times already this season. So she says that Bill is very eager to claim her in public. So he attends this event. She says her boyfriend, though, is the complete opposite in regards to wanting to attend events and things like that with her. Kelsey, so this is probably all leading us up to her at the reunion revealing that they've broken up. But is she still living in the house? Okay. Kelsey says that everything that Rosie does pisses her off because Rosie's there doing stuff. And she's like, everything she does pisses me off. It's giving jealous, Kelsey. Right? Anyone else, like, it's giving, like, you're jealous. You're jealous of Rosie. Because Rosie's just there. Rosie didn't do anything to you. Rosie didn't take your man. Rosie didn't, she didn't post something about a haircut? Like, it's not that deep. Brian gets a call from his dad. Okay, mind you, pay attention to his ring finger in this scene. His wedding band was on then. Brian gets a call from his, quote, dad. I put in quotes, dad. Apparently his mother isn't feeling well, so they have to end up leaving. So before they get on the bus, they tell the group, we got to leave. On the bus, Alicia's like, I love a horse. And they all start laughing. They're like, she's like, what? She's like, nothing. Rula, after she leaves the group, she FaceTimes with Liz and it claims that Brian is with his mom and dad. So he drops Rula off at home. She claims that the parents were watching their kids. Okay. She says that Brian's with his dad and mom at the hospital, I guess. Joellen in that moment gets a text message that Brian was trying to see the mistress. What? Literally after they FaceTime with Rula, she gets a text message right after that. And her friend, who's friends with the mistress, reported that to her. He's trying to see her. He's trying to see her right now. So, so Rosie is in a conversation with Joellen talking about, we're adding 5,000 square feet to this home that we just bought together. And Kelsey, when speaking to Joellen about what Rosie said, Kelsey says that, Rosie lies a lot. She likes to put on and stuff like that. You are coming across like such a hater. And maybe Rosie does. Maybe Rosie is putting on, especially being with this group. She says she has anxiety around this group. She's on a reality show. I wouldn't be surprised that she might be putting on. I mean, we literally see the construction, but whatever. But Kelsey, in her jealousy, because mind you, Kelsey, what you have, that home that you have, is because of your boyfriend. That's not even your husband. So here today, gone tomorrow, basically. So she's like, she likes to put on. She doesn't believe that they're adding, 5,000 square feet to the 3,000 square feet that they have. She doesn't believe it. Brian and Rula arrive. So they come to the event. We're going to go through the timetable in just a second. Brian's wedding ring wasn't on, and he's called out for it. He's like, oh, it's in the car. I got it. I have my diamond one. Rula says, he normally doesn't. He wears a rubber one because he's a doctor. He's a surgeon. And so, a lot of them wear a rubber one. He didn't have the rubber one on. He didn't have the diamond one on. Okay. Rula, you like it, I love it for you. I would not even argue with Rula. Okay. Sonia says, I heard Ashlee's engaged. Ashlee is married. Are you talking about Kelsey, maybe? I know you're all confused by this cast. Which one are you referring to on Rhode Island? Because Ashlee's the one sitting down on the left. She's already married to Jared and apparently chased him on Bachelor. Yeah. Paint These Wings says, I finally called it live. Hey, Paint These Wings. TJ says, whatever, Rula. Exactly. So that's her excuse for him not having his wedding ring on. But he goes back to the car to put his wedding ring on. I thought it was interesting that he had it on when they were at Angela's. And then when he went to go take care of his mom, it was off. Okay. Look, all right. Fine. Okay. All right. So apparently the mistress posted being in Brian's car 2 hours ago. So Joelle in her confessional breaks down what was playing out, the timeline. So she says 1:15, Brian's mother is ill. 1:58 p.m., no longer with Brian, we FaceTime with Rula. 1:59, I receive a text message that Brian's trying to see the mistress. 2 hours later, the mistress posts this picture on social media. 5:15 p.m., Rula and Brian show up to the polo event. Like, you couldn't even just film with your wife for the day. Like, you can just make this moment with her. You had to go see the whore, the whore, as we say over here in the tri-state area. So Brian is going through his social media, like he's scrolling through his Instagram, and then says he isn't going to do this on camera. So it's very clear you're caught out there. If you didn't do something, he wouldn't be acting as guilty as he was acting in this scene. Don't y'all think that he was acting guilty? I was like, if you didn't do what they're claiming that you did, you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not doing this on camera. Yeah, you don't want to do this on camera because you're caught. Exactly. K-Baby says Joellen's breakdown was hilarious. But on point. Her breakdown made more sense than whatever he was trying to say. Chocolate Soul, thank you so much for being a member for 37 months. Thank you. I wanted them to show the inside of Brian's car. Me too, but I guess because it showed the mistress, they couldn't. But they could have showed inside his car, just like a general picture of them inside his car. I guess maybe there wasn't a camera inside the car. I don't know. Whatever. So thank you for being a member, Chocolate Soul. And shout out to the members, guys. Don't forget this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, my Vedic astrologer, Nancy, will be back here on the channel, and she'll be doing exclusive, very short, because, a birth chart reading takes a lot. She'll be doing short, mini readings for you guys for members. I will probably have it be a general live, but it will be for members. Members will have access to her 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you make time in your day, make your lunch breaks, set a reminder. It's going to happen at 4 p.m. Eastern this Thursday. Okay? All right. Mods, can we just post that in the live chat as well? Replay crew. If you can't make it, you can't make it, but I will post her information, Nancy's information, so you can book a Vedic chart reading. I forgot to do it yesterday. I'll do it today, both for the RHOA live and for this live. I'll post her contact information in the description. Okay. Angel says, I'll be there on Thursday. I knew you were going to be there, Angel. Angel's like, I'm going to prioritize this. I'm going to get me my astrology reading. Okay. Yes. The Way of Keith says, I'll be there on Thursday. Does she help with career advice? Any question that you guys have, again, it's going to be a short form. Again, Keith, Angel, if you want a long form, then book an actual reading with her. But Thursday, it would be sort of like a short form version of what I've done with her multiple times. Okay, so yeah, but you can definitely do an in-depth reading with her, Keith. But you can ask her about career, and she'll just look at your birth chart. So just a reminder, for those that will be a part, I'll be posting this on the community tab as well for members. She's going to need your day of birth, your name, day of birth, city you were born, and time of birth. That's going to be important. Okay? All right, so back to this, guys. If you haven't liked the video already, be sure to like the video. It's easy. It's free. We've already been live 2 hours. I know, Janelle, you're going to be there. Janelle's in the chat. Janelle, I know you will be there. Again, this is going to be exclusive for members. Become a member today, teamkempire.com/join. All right, back to this. So Brian doesn't want to do this on camera. Joellen shows what the mistress posted on her Instagram story. Brian claims that Joellen is trying to perpetuate this. And so she flips out on him. She's like, I'm not perpetuating anything. She posted it on social media. I felt the anger for Joellen. I'm not perpetuating anything. Your whore posted it on social media. Okay? So I didn't blame her for being upset. I'm surprised her husband didn't come over. So Joellen tries to have a heart-to-heart with Rula. She really was being sensitive here. I have to give it to Joellen. She was really, I know she tries to claim that she's mean, but she really was trying to be a girl's girl in this moment. And Brian claims that he spoke to the mistress yesterday, but he says that Rula knew about that. I couldn't tell from Rula's body language whether or not she knew about that, but that's what he says that she knows about that. Liz tells Rula that she can't keep blaming Joellen. Like, Joellen's bad, good, indifferent, whatever. You can't keep blaming Joellen for this. Joellen thinks that Brian is okay with the mistress posting because Brian wants Rula to leave him. Lord have mercy. So that's how the episode ends, with Rula and Brian end up leaving together after being confronted by the jealousy of it all. Excuse me. So if you had to rate this week's episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, how would you rate it? I thought it was a really good episode. BY says Gary has Joellen's back, as he should. I can't say the same for Brian. He's had his wife on this show looking like a fool. And I think he may have agreed to do this show because she had the whatchamacallit, the arrest situation over his head. I really do believe that. Because I don't think Rula is as naive as we're making her out to be. I definitely think she's chosen to stick with this man for whatever reason, but I also don't think that she's some punk. I don't think that she's being taken advantage of here. Alicia, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. Very Fiery says, don't shoot the messenger. I agree. Kai's rating this week's episode an 8.5 to 9. Taurus rated it a 9. All right. DC rated it an 8. Lolo rated a 6 out of 10. Aunt Sean rated it a 9. All right. Very Fiery rated it a solid 9. KB gave it a 9. Jan says, I could never fight that hard for a friend that doesn't want to know. I'd have to detach. Same, Jan. Like, I'm already detached now. And yes, Rula, when Rula was on Watch What Happens Live, he was in the hot seat. He actually came out to the audience, and Andy said he gave him the opportunity not to have to sit in the audience. But he was out in the audience. He answered questions. I still think that he's cheating. I still think, who here doesn't believe that he's cheating? Who believes he's not cheating? I want to know. Can y'all let me know? BY says 9 out of 10. Nicole says 10. Jan says 9. At Lynette, is that how you pronounce it? Martinez says a 9. Chocolate Soul gave it a 9. Dan is celebrating 4. You guys have been members for a long time. Thank you so much, guys, for being members so long. I don't take that lightly. Dan says, hold on. Celebrating 47 months of memberships. Been here a while. Also, happy birthday to my sister. You got a Taurus sister? How lucky you. How lucky you. Thank you so much, Dan, and happy birthday to your sister. Wavekey says this episode was an 8. Salt Lake City got some competition, especially after this last season of Salt Lake City. Danny gave it a 9. Hey, Danny Wade. Scorpio says he is definitely cheating. Wavekey says Rula's the one that believes he's not cheating. We all know that he's cheating. OMG. OMG. Guys, we're almost at 600 likes. Can we get to 600 likes? Keep liking the video if you haven't already. Be sure to check out the description. I will be adding the timestamps after I have a meeting after this. So after my meeting, I will add the timestamps. So stay tuned for the timestamps. But like I said, I feel like watching this show, listening to the show on the podcast from beginning to end is worth it. Do it while you're cleaning up or something. Just hit play and let me go. Let me do my thing. Okay? Let me do my thing. But this is where we've been recapping Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Maybe in season 2, we will do a separate recap for the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I just was checking my Instagram during the commercial break that it seems as if the cat's out of the bag. But I told y'all before, who knows? We just never know who's watching the channel. But I heard from very reliable sources they're going to be starting to film the Real Housewives of New Jersey May 15th. May 15th is when they're going to start filming. That's what I heard. Kendra says, sidebar, any Wendy Acefo updates? Actually, I haven't heard anything. And maybe because they're supposed to go to a hearing in May in regards to their case. So I haven't heard any updates. I haven't heard anything in regards to Potomac filming either. So stay tuned. Look, I don't fish for information. I like when the information comes to me. That way we could talk about it. So I'm not fishing for the information. Let them film the season. If information lands in my lap, I will bring it to you guys. But I haven't heard anything right now. But that is something I did hear literally today, that Real Housewives of New Jersey is going to start filming May 15th. I also heard some other stuff, but I'm going to let it go. Okay, I won't let it go. No, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Club Kempire, I owe you an episode. But the last episode, the podcast, for those that don't know what Club Kempire is, that's the Apple Podcast subscription that you pay for on Apple Podcasts. The last episode we dropped was the Kempire After Dark live from New York. So if you missed that, you can listen to that right now. But I do owe you guys a new episode, so stay tuned for that. Chocolate Sauce Kempire Bravo owes you. You're the only reason why I watch Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Thank you, Chocolate Sauce. But it's good. It's good. Wave Key says, Taria got you, Kempire. Don't worry. No, you're right. And you know Taria will be on the channel when she goes to the hearing. So stay tuned for that. B-Wise, we did give you just a slight update on Ashlee Robinson in regards to what's going on with there. Her body has been returned to the family. And they revealed that she returned without her engagement ring. And people were dragging the family on social media. For me, that's an important detail. But yeah. Cindy says, saw Tia on from RHOP on Sunday. She was with her son and realized I recognized her, but she still smiled and gave a little wave. That was sweet. I wonder how the season's going for Tia. His Bookie Bear says, do not like Laugh Out Loud Kemp. No recap. Huh? Ladies of London? His Bookie Bear, now you gonna make me mad. Look. Bookie Bear, we do recap Ladies of London every single Friday with our Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. Hey, thank you, Kendra. Kendra says he recaps Ladies of London on Friday, usually. And there's timestamps. Look. Where you been? His Bookie Bear. We've been recapping Ladies of London since the beginning. And I'm enjoying it. But if you missed our last recap, be sure to check it out. Oh, speaking of, I forgot to play. Okay, I'm not done yet. I'm going to play this really quickly because I have to go. I'm not done. So for the shout out to those of you that stuck around, I forgot to play the PK Kemsely situation. Let me play that for you guys. First of all, the Ladies of London ratings, 290,000 viewers this past week, episode 9, 290,000 viewers. It was a big drop from Beverly Hills ratings because Beverly Hills this week had 815,000 viewers, almost a million live viewers. Who's watching it? I know I watch it for here, but like, who's watching this? 815,000 viewers watched live watched Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Part 1 reunion. Maybe people weren't watching the season. They were like, okay, we'll watch the reunion. Maybe. All right. Yes, Stark. We actually talked about that. I forgot which live it was. Maybe it was Friday's live. I talked about Sloan Bella's reading on Ashlee Jenae. I also talked about Aphrodite's reading on that as well. So y'all just got to watch the content. I can't tell y'all to watch everything, but I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about as much things as I can. All right, let me play this clip for you because you all were asking me to talk about PK and PK's interview. I have not seen PK's complete interview, but shout out to our friends over at No Chaser TV because you know what we do here. We cite our sources. We have a clip from this interview.
If you could take us back there.
Sidebar, this interview is from We Need to Talk podcast. PK was very honest in his sit down for the We Need to Talk podcast, choosing not to litigate his divorce in the press from Dorit Kemsely. He touched on triumphs and failures in life and in business, as well as his marriage to Dorit. However, here he revealed his struggle with self-love and respect over the situations he encountered.
If you're willing to talk about the darkest moment so that we can understand how you felt and what was driving that emotion for you.
I think there were a lot of dark moments. I think this sense of, for me, this inability that I experienced to be clear. I had no clarity.
Okay.
I had no clarity with my marriage, with that show, with business. I couldn't focus. That's when I decided to blame it on drink. And so, right, I'll give up drink. And that will get me clear. And actually, there was enormous clarity when I did that. But I also learned that wasn't the issue. The issue was me, and delving into all of the mistakes that I'd always made, seeing myself making the same mistakes, having that sense of deja vu, thinking about Loretta and the kids and the distance. There was too much distance between me and my older kids. I mean, thank God it's all, but I was too absent. I didn't want to be absent this time around. And then I was being accused of being absent, and I wasn't absent.
Right.
But
mind you, he's talking about Dorit, because remember Dorit on the show has really been slamming PK not being around for the kids and things like that. So you see what he's saying here, that because of his older children, he specifically did not want that to be a narrative with his kids, his young kids now with Dorit.
I think I was absent in terms of my ability to address how I was actually feeling. I actually made myself second. I still don't, but I didn't love myself. I didn't respect myself. I was just doing it for this thing. I'd lost even any thought as to why I was doing it.
And you just said something powerful. So today, as you said, do you love yourself?
Not yet.
Are you proud of yourself?
Nope.
Do you respect what you've created?
Nope.
You don't?
Not yet.
Wow.
I'm aware of what I created. People like you who show me respect and, in a really beautiful way and say, this is amazing what you did. But no, I'm not there yet.
You're not there, PK.
No.
It's interesting. When you came in, before you came in, I was talking to different people, getting ready to interview PK, and I'm just bragging about you.
Thanks.
That is a bit shocking to me, that you don't love yourself.
Not yet.
That's sad.
How can I at the moment in terms of...
Because my thing is, if you don't love yourself, you can't offer anything good to the world, to your children, to a relationship. So this is PK, formerly of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the estranged husband of Dorit Kemsely. He's saying that he doesn't love himself. That's sad.
I'm always in a situation. It's
if you could take us back there, if you're willing.
So they're replaying it. You can see the full interview with PK Kemsely on the We Need to Talk podcast. That was just a clip. You know what we do here. We cite our sources. So be sure to check it out. Maybe if I have time, I will listen to the entire podcast and get back to you guys. But I have other things that I need to get done today, and I got to get out of here. But shout out to our King's Guards for holding us down all the time in the chat. We appreciate them. Shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. That will be a great opportunity for you guys this week, especially because we're going to do something exclusive for our members with my Vedic astrologer, Nancy. She'll be here on the channel this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for that. And shout out to our subscribers. We appreciate you guys. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And I will keep the Vedic astrology reading thing for the general audience, but the readings will be just for members. Okay? And they'll be short members, and we won't be able to get to everybody because we'll be live for forever if we did for everyone. All right. Thank you for everyone being here. We're almost at 600 likes. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like today's video. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, Kempire, King of Pop Culture, be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And in regards to all of our sponsors, be sure to check out the description and more, including how you can get a cameo from me, our Are You Okay merch. I said that a few times today. Get your Are You Okay merch today. Everything will be available in the description. Thank you to everyone for being here. I hope to see you guys during our next live. Well, no, technically our next live will be Thursday with Nancy, and then after that, the Friday live. But make sure you're locked and loaded here on the channel as well. Turn it on. All right. Yeah, I had to skip I had to skip the Giselle story. Maybe another day. Maybe I'll do a separate video. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all. Here
we go now.